Okay, hello everyone and welcome to another randomised gaming stream. I am of course your host for Randomised Gaming's live streams, Random Gamer Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming. And I should actually do a similar thing to how I close the video saying hello, good afternoon, good evening or good night, wherever you are in the world right now. So in tonight's stream we are going to be looking at Evolution, the world of sacred devices. I used to think that was scarce devices, but it's not, it's sacred. Well, so I call it devices, but it sounds better with devices, but it's actually only device, the world of sacred device. So I'm actually getting a bit cheeky and load up my save game, despite the fact I have no idea what I'm going to be doing tonight. It's been a lot. I never actually finished this, so I thought, you know what, rather than start a fresh game, I might actually just load my save game and see where I was. This could be tempting fate. But Evolution, the world of sacred devices, is one of the earliest RPGs on, I think, okay, that's the save. Okay, let's just check out the save. I should say hello to Brickboy, thanks for joining the stream. You like the thumbnail, do you? Yeah, I'm adjusting how we do thumbnails at the minute, so glad you like it. Hopefully the volume isn't too loud for the game. You should be able to hear me and the music. If there are any audio issues, do let me know. I think that's good by the looks of it. I might just turn the music a touch down, I think, just to be on the safe side. But yeah, it is a very much, this is a proper sort of old school RPG moving hand. And yeah, here in the UK, it's pretty good tonight, although it's rather hot and sweaty, so... Lighting hand part change. Hammer part. Moving hands parts 2. Parts for a hand type side frame. Let you fight by moving characters. Okay, cool, brilliant. Thanks for letting me know, Brickboy. Yeah, sometimes we've had it where it's been a bit quiet in the past. They're all dropping our defense heavily. Yeah, here in the UK it's been really humid today, so it's rather sticky. To be honest with the Dreamcast, I don't think there's that good on emulators, and remember, emulation technically isn't legal unless you have the consent of the developers to do so, so I do have to reiterate that because I'm an industry professional. So technically I don't know how good the Dreamcast emulation is. There may be ways to play it on emulator, but there's no official way. The first Evolution is fairly cheap to buy. The second game is getting quite expensive in PAL territory. In fact, it's very expensive in PAL territories from what I've seen. But the first one's still fairly cheap to buy. So it is... I'm just checking my equipment. It is... It's not a bad game. It's not a perfect game, I'd say. It's definitely had its issues. I'm tempting fate by doing this, but I'm basically playing from a blind save that I haven't played in a long time. This is my original game. I've never Here, it looks useful. It has been it's probably been over a decade since I played this, and I'm carrying on from my save file. It's nice that the VMU actually is your health. So Mag currently has 3,175 hit points. Linear is 2,566, and Pepper, the girl, is 2,618. The one with glasses. You can change characters as well. I think Grenade. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to Dreamcast emulation, so. Yeah, this is quite a nice structured story. So yeah, I can swap Grenade and Chain Gun and Pepper. You can swap out. I think Linear pretty much always has to be in your party, but not sure. Yeah, so this is Mag. Going on adventures. Can't remember if there were additional assignments you got from the guild. You basically do your missions via the guild, so I will be continuing the dungeon that I've obviously started. I have a suspicion. The music is really, really good for this. So basically this is a dungeon adventure, but it's a sort of story related dungeon adventure, and you have lots of dungeons as you progress, so... And basically there is a complete narrative. Strangely, this is a game where actually you can't actually do all the dungeons, I think, in one run. I seem to recall one dungeon gets locked off, depending what order you do them in, so you have to wait to a second playthrough. Bear right. So I think the landing field. This, I don't think it's the landing field. I think you have to get on the plane to go. This is the town. But sadly this game is not... So there's actually 4 Evolution games, just to let you know. There is the original Dreamcast one, Evolution: The World of Scarce Devices. This also got a Neo Geo version, Neo Geo Pocket version I should say. So basically it was a cut down pocket version of the... This also got a sequel called Evolution 2, Far Off Promises, which actually continues the story straight off. Okay, there's again. I can't just walk to someone's home and do. That's the cliche of many an RPG. Yeah, it would be nice if there was a proper retro database. Like there was a proper thing where you could buy Dreamcast games and everything. I mean, it'd be nice if they just reissued a lot of these games for like £5. I think if they did that, a lot of people would pick them up. I do wish more games were available. I mean, this hasn't been, so there's Evolution, there's Evolution 1, Evolution 2 on Dreamcast. There's an Evolution 1 on Neo Geo Pocket, which is just a Neo Geo Pocket port of the original game. And then there's this weird combination of games called Evolution World on the GameCube. Evolution World is Evolution 1 and 2 crammed together with, I think, a few bits added in and some stuff taken out. It was a bit of a weird title. Basically, visually it's better than the original Evolution. I think it's sort of better than the sequel on Dreamcast. But the problem is that it's pretty much kind of like half of each game, so both games feel like they've had elements cut down. It's a really weird one. So this is the Guild Member Society. Oh yeah, why not? Let's upgrade our gear. So yeah, Linear uses magic, all the other characters use cyber frames, and you can upgrade their gear. Yeah, they're all at full health. Got formation. So I currently got Mag, Linear. You can change characters. I'm just trying to work out where Chain's house is. That's the shop. It's Chain. So there's basically in this one there's 5 characters. We have Chain Gun. We have Mag Launcher. You'll get the thing as the like Linear Cannon. Pepper. I think she's Pepper Spray and Grenade Launcher. And there's a character in the second game who's an additional one playable called Carcanon, as in Canon. They're all basically... Yeah, there's a lot of charm. Visually, this was quite a nice game. It's not the best Dreamcast game. It was quite an early one, but the music is really good, and the visuals have a certain charm. The sequel is definitely a lot better looking. I'm just reacquainting myself with the structure at the minute because I'm trying to remember where I am in the game. So I was doing one of the ruins. Just trying to remember. I think Chain Gun lives in a manor house. Basically, you can swap out the characters you want. I think predominantly you have to have Mag and Linear. I think towards the end of the game, Linear gets kidnapped. Unlike a lot of other Rogue Dungeon games, this is a much more story structure and it's much more playable, I think. Hello, Nico, as well. We've got Brick Boy and Nico on stream. Welcome. Down in the scent rooms. Pepper Box, the large... So I'm actually on the third dungeon. I think there's about 5 or 6. See if I find. I think Chain's Guns. Yeah. So we got the tavern. I think I was in the bar earlier, wasn't I? Did I go into the bar? Yeah, I did go into the bar. We are looking at Evolution, the World of Scarce Devices. It was developed by Sting, and it was published by... Oh, this is the one I spoke to earlier. It was so in Japan it was published by Sega. In Europe it was sort of published by Ubisoft. That's the society. Where does Chain Gun live again? Does she live near you? I'm just remember where Chain actually lives. Yeah, Mag's quite partial to drinking alcohol, it would seem. It smells really good. It smells like wine. Yeah, this one, I don't recall actually ever grinding in this one. I just sort of progressed through it. I have actually loaded up my save file, so we're away into the game. I never actually finished this. Where was Chain Gun's house? I don't think Chain Gun's in the manor. I think she's got a separate manor. It's basically Mag and Chain Gun, which all the characters all got quirky names, are basically like the aristocrats of the village. Oh, there's Chain. The optimised way. Well, have you done an optimised playthrough on this? Because if you do, I'll be honest, if you're playing an RPG by running through the enemies, then that's just, that's called QA test. Yeah, Sega made some really good games. I think this was when they were starting to get into their prime. I wouldn't say this is the best. Yeah, their PSP stuff's definitely better. I think this is a sort of early one where they were getting a bit to the grips with some of the stuff. I think because they hadn't quite done that much in terms of Dreamcast stuff at the time. So I can change character, but I'm going to stick with Pepperbot. I think we have to get into the plane to ride out. There's a bit of sort of Indiana Jones with this. Take off for the ruins. So yeah, one of the ruins. Shade ruin, so I can go to level. So you'll see I've already done 2 ruins. One of them's actually sealed off. There's not actually that big a game. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ruins, I think, in the game. And one of them, conveniently, gets closed off, as I mentioned, and you can only do on a second playthrough. So I think it's random which one gets closed off. I think it depends on what ruin you do first. But basically the Imperials turn up to it and... shut it down for you. The music is absolutely wonderful, Link. Linny is basically the healing character. I forgot the voice acting was in Japanese in this. I remember it was Japanese in the sequel. The sequel's definitely a lot more polished than the original, that I will say. And yes, Linear does attack with a frying pan. That sounds like they ported the GameCube version, Nico, because the GameCube version is a so there's 4. So I probably should explain to you if you're not that familiar with the Evolution series. There are 4 games in the series. There is this one. There is the second game, so there's 2 games on Dreamcast. Evolution 1, The World of Scarce Device. Then there's Evolution 2, Far Off Promise. Then on the Neo Geo Pocket, you got Evolution. It's given a subtitle, but it's basically the Dreamcast version put onto Neo Geo Pocket. And finally, there was Evolution Worlds on GameCube, which is a game that's basically 1 and 2 combined with elements stripped out. So it's not all the game. I think there's stuff added in, stuff stripped out. It's a bit of a weird, funky version. Okay, I think if I get the happy music, that means I got, yeah, you have the initiative and I get to attack. So there are effectively 4 games in the Evolution series that Sing did. I think I think the second game was actually 2000, but it was really late, or it was 99. The second game was actually quite an early Dreamcast game as well, but it was a very late PAL release. I seem to recall you could trigger traps as well, so you do have to be careful. The music is truly wonderful. The state is basically a rogue dungeon adventure, so... Oh, I thought you said GameCube, yeah. I thought you said PC actually, not GameCube. Yeah, Evolution World. I've got, I don't have the Neo Geo Pocket, but I have the other 3, but I had the PAL versions of the other 3. This one, the second game, and weirdly, Evolution World was quite hard to get when it came out on GameCube. It's a bit of an odd one, that I will say. Yeah, I've actually got my guys in the... Yeah, you basically have a 6-button formation. So, not 6, you've got a 9-square formation. I usually have them in the middle. So, if they're at the back, they take less damage. I'll just show you the menus. Just to show you. So, I was quitting them status into the party option formation. Yep. So there, if you put them at the front, you do more damage, but you take more damage. You've got the middle, which is sort of the average, and then you have the back, which is the where you deal. I can't remember how item search worked. I think I still have a teleporter. I should do. I probably should have bought one. I think actually you find teleporters in the dungeon, I hope. So let's do an item search. So I guess it shows you the treasure sites. That's what it does. The music is wonderful. Again, there's no random battles. It's basically run into enemies. So, yeah, Sting did make some really good games. This wasn't their best game, but it's still an enjoyable RPG, I will admit. that could be any good. Hunter's jacket. No, I've got a lot of gear I need to sell, actually. I shouldn't have... You do get gear for all the characters, so it's worth noting that there are 5 characters. Yeah, Baraku is a very good game. That did get so many releases as well. So different versions. I think the Saturn's is the first, and then I think it was the PS2 or Wii was the last. But it is a very good game. So Mag can't wear the banner. She can't wear the banner. I think it's the same equipment. So Pepper. I think some floors basically even exit teleport, which is... But yeah, the music is hypnotic. It really does remind me of Tomb Raider, actually. It gets the feel of Tombs just right. You can jump as well. It makes you feel like you're running around. It's... Yeah, because the Saturn, although it's the first version, is missing a few features they added for the second and third game, I recall. Okay, you have the initiative. Yeah, the Saturn's version of Baraku is missing the collector guy, isn't it? So that actually makes carrying items. The PS1 added him in. You can actually literally use strength recovery. Yeah, I think the Saturn's one's definitely the hardest. We do have the Saturn's version, I played it briefly, and we played the Wii version as well. I think it was Wii. We have either the Wii or the PS2. One of the guys has got it. I can't remember which one. I think it's the Wii. Yes, this guy actually packs quite a punch. Hope you're enjoying the stream as well, Brick Boy. It's a really nice looking... It's still quite a nice looking Dreamcast game. Is that the right brightness for you guys? I just think it might be a touch bright, actually. Hello, Dubs. Thanks for joining the stream. Yes, we're looking at Evolution, the World of Scarce Devices. One of the earliest... I think as dungeon RPGs go, it's... Actually, I have a feeling that are they real time, the dungeons in this one? No, there's definitely one of the cat NPCs is missing in the Saturn's one, but not. I think it's the kid who was like the hat and stuff. I think he's missing key items. He's definitely missing from the. You can tell when you get the initiative because the music pipes up. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please do hit that like button. It is very much appreciated. Might be a touch too bright for you guys. Just adjust it. Might be the contrast. Yeah, I'm definitely finding with the Dreamcast I have to change it per game. Yeah, no, Nike, you don't need to check it. Just look at Hardcore Gaming's review. Because I remember there's a key NPC missing, so it's definitely the one that has, like, I think it's the one that stores the items for you. In fact, yeah, Hardcore Gaming do a good write-up on it, so there's some great special attacks in this as well, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is actually a really nice. It was a nice title. It's not, as I said, it's not the greatest RPG on Dreamcast, but it was an early one. I think for an early title, it's certainly visually, it shows you what the Dreamcast could do. Admittedly, the sort of look of everything's really nice. It's perhaps not as detailed as they could be. Some of the textures could be a lot more detailed, I felt. In fact, some of them look... Some of these enemies look almost untextured, I have to admit. I'm being a bit cheeky and thought, yeah, I might as well play through my save game that I'd originally done. I'm thinking I should have bought a teleport though. Or is it you find them every few stages? Well, the levels do, as said, every stage is random, so when you come back to these stages, they'll be totally different to what they were before. Yeah, if you are going to fight, you want to make sure you have the initiative. You're getting a lot of... Yes, you could have a sledgehammer. There's some really great attacks in this, as you saw there. It's absolutely crazy with the fact he basically gets the hammer and then whacks him around. Pepper's now level 44. I actually have a feeling I can't use magic when I'm not in... Picked up insecticide. Boom. I think it's a game where I can't use magic until I... The enemies seem to be half asleep at the minute, so I'll just run past them. I think this is going to be a straight circle, isn't it? Yeah. So when that says this is the deepest part of the dungeon, that means I've literally got a section where we're about to hit a boss. Right. Oh, and you heal up as soon as you come. Oh, that was a waste of the items. Now, where was the shop again? I think it's this one. Item shop, yep. Here we go, trying to sell some stuff. Can't remember where Pepper actually hangs out in town. I think she's in the bar. So just literally run around in circles, so... So I have a feeling that other stave may have been further ahead, because that was on 16. Go to next. So this 15, obviously. So basically, the societies can't rescue at the bosses. Oh, yep, that's the other thing. You gotta watch the traps. I think that hurts everyone when they detonate, which is annoying. And I should just say the original, so appreciate the likes everyone, so the original release for Evolution was 1999 and its developer was Sting, and it was published by Ubisoft ESP software, but I think it was also co-published by Sega in Japan. Yeah, Ubisoft didn't they? I think, did they do a few of the PC ones around that time as well? I know there are a couple of PC. I mean, they've done quite a few series actually. There's a teleport there. Yeah, the dungeons are very, very random at times in this, so they do change every time you enter them as well, so there are no preset dungeons in the first game. The sequel does have preset dungeons. Yeah, I've not played the PC version of I've not played the PC version of Grandia 2, but I heard it was a bit of a mess. I know even the release on Steam there were some complaints about it. And that's what I get for not going straight for the boss. Ooh. Actually, you know what? I will just get out here and go down to the boss. Okay, right, here we go. I'm about to jump to a boss fight that I haven't fought in a very long time. I've obviously fought it. It's not a good... And here we go. Steam version's better, is it? It's just a shame the recent PS2 release, no, the Switch release was based on I think this one's going to be fought at distance, this whole battle. Oh, that was a bit... And there goes the frame rate as well. I think Linear's going to be on healing. Yeah, that was really disappointing. It was based on the inferior PS1 version. They initially claimed that they were looking... that they were going to base it on the Saturn's one, but the developers didn't know what they were doing. And it was easier to port the PS1 version than... Some quite good attack effects in this. Mag's body is... Yeah, they would have just used an emulator. I suspect it's... Oh, they filtered it. Ugh. Some great attack animations in this, I will say. So she needs to heal everyone first. Oh really? Is it that bad then? Oh, so the cutscenes are original. Yeah, that's probably about the only good thing by the sound of it. Pepper Flash. Ooh. Oh wow, 3,500 damage. Do Pepper Flash again, even though that's going to deplete her SP bar, but that should do a lot of damage. $30,000. I'll just take 4,500. The rest is all mag share. That still leaves you in debt. Since it wouldn't be fair to Mag to use all his share to repay the Mag launcher debt, I'll just take 20. Your outstanding debt. Nice of them to do that. She with the remainder of 5,100 currency. See you around. Ciao. Yeah, you're right. They don't look that skinny, do they? They look quite fat, like old. They look like really big novels, sort of historical things, but they're a bit too big. Hey Mag, did you know that Pepper has a lot of admirers in society too? She's smart, beautiful, and even she can hold her liquor. I admire her so much. I do quite like the animation Nina has where she's sort of playing with her hair. The last one you mentioned, liquor. What does that have to do with anything? Everything, Mag. But you'll discover that one day. Doing business with you again. Yeah, I think all the characters. Yeah, I think she sits at the bar. I'll pick a different character for the. Let's go talk to the creator and give the item. Oh, I think it's already been. It's called a cold spiral. Oh, we found. I'll go grab chain gun for the next adventure. Yeah, I think there are quite a few games this is similar to. I definitely think this borrowed from a few other games. In fact, it borrows from quite a few SNES games. Yep, so we can't do it. We've got to go home, have a rest, and advance the story. I said the music is absolutely fantastic. Yep, this is the first. I'm actually progressing the story after. It must have been quite a while since I last played this. Yeah, I must have taken grenade down there originally. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, she gets a bit annoyed if we look in her room. I do like there's so much you can actually look at in here, which is quite nice. Yeah, I think both Mag and Chain are effectively orphans. You're never told exactly what happens to their parent. Yeah, we've got the meet schedule again. The translation was actually pretty good. I feel sorry for Easter and Kasim. What a nightmare. Appreciate the likes, everyone who is on stream. That is very appreciated. Glad you like a look at this. Although I don't think too many people are on tonight. I'm guessing I know RPGs aren't everyone's take. I think Power Stone 2 might be quite popular tomorrow. I also have a long play of Power Stone 2 coming as well, so do hope you all enjoy that. Hello Riven, hello Nico, hello 8-bit SNK boy. Thank you for joining the stream. Evolution, the world of scarce devices, which I am reconnecting with my age-old save file. This door. Definitely a quieter stream, guess Evolution, not as popular as some other games. It's definitely one that I think Dreamcast fans should take a look at. But if you're an RPG fan, you should. I should probably include the genre in the actual description. And I've started to include it, but I should probably do it formally. Yep, there's Pepper. It'll be a party. You know how lately her tabs have gotten a bit high. Well, how about it? Milk on the house. Quite a good joke. Some quite good jokes actually. But we can change the music on the jukebox. Yeah, it's a real shame this doesn't actually get... This and the sequel could do with a re-release, so... But I'm not sure what happened to Sting. I think they went bust, so I don't know... Or someone bought them up. Getting used to navigating around town as well. It's been so long since I think this was actually... I can't remember. This and Power Stone 2 that I'm streaming tomorrow. They're basically... Sting still exists in some form. This and Power Stone 2 were actually two of the games I got the day we got the Dreamcast. I think this kid asked. Yeah, the little kids keep trying to marry Linear. Oh really? They've been re-releasing some of their games on Switch. I have a look. Is it them re-releasing it or is it some other company? Because a lot of their games have... A lot of developers are now beginning to finally wake up to the fact that some of these games are actually good. I mean, this is pretty decent. It's not... I wouldn't call this like an A-tier game. I'd call this a sort of... it's probably a B or a C. The sequel does directly follow on from this, so I can understand why they put them together for the GameCube one, but they strip out so much of the original. Welcome back. Yes, that's Grenade, our butler. Then you can also deploy him for missions. Yes, I'm hungry too. Let's move on the story. Yeah, the only downside is if you want to play the sequel, you'd be best not buying a PAL copy. If you go take a look at the PAL copies on eBay, Nyko, they are, this is the sequel, they are very sad. It's so expensive, yeah. No, I'm the other way around. I much prefer Power Stone 2 to the original game. The original game is awful in single player because the AI just runs for the Power Stones. There's no game. Whereas in the sequel, you have lots of things going on. It's just a much better game overall. The stages are awesome. I think the original was Capcom getting to grips with the engine. The sequel was them really doing some interesting stuff with the engine. I suppose it depends if you like more arena fighting or if you prefer one-on-one fighting. If you want more one-on-one fighting, the sequel does have it, but I think a lot of purists would prefer the original game because the stages aren't quite as dynamic. Well, we have the proud tradition of the Launcher family. Grenade, it's quite funny. Magnus is getting a bit embarrassing. And I kept believing in you despite the many, many times I came close to being discouraged. Now at last the flower has bloomed. Oh, it gives me a lump in my throat. Someday people all over the world will know Panam as the town where the renowned Mag lives. When that day comes, I will beam with pride and look back and say, thank goodness I kept believing. I know that wonderful day is not far off. Yeah, they did get I expected, yeah, the Neo Geo Evolution's probably quite expensive as well. In fact, every Neo Geo Pocket game is just stupid. That day will surely come, Mag. Mag? Who's that? Yeah, most of the Neo Geo Pocket games have gone astronomical, sadly. Oh, and here comes the villain again. Yeah, the story is very silly, but good fun. The characters are sort of slightly... So this is Eugene, the villain. He initially, I think he tries to befriend Linnea. She refuses to help, and I think they kidnap her in the end. Ah, my sweet Linnea, what a coincidence that we should meet at a place like this. This rendezvous of ours must have been predestined by fate. I brought these here for you. I hope you like roses. Probably do a more sinister voice. Roses and women begin to lose their beauty once they're blossomed. Wouldn't you agree, my dear? Don't you get it? A rose is most beautiful when it first begins to bud. And so it is with women, and with you. Now, Linnea, you and I will be together. Hey, Linnea, is the tea ready yet? Linnea! Right at the good part. Well, if it isn't Mag Launcher, I trust you are well. Eugene, what are you doing here? Today I thought I'd make a break from work and mingle with ordinary civilians, such as yourself. As two people searching for evolution, we should learn to see eye to eye, don't you think? Instead of standing around talking here, I will sample your local hospitality. I can tell what a marvelous adventurer your father was just by looking at you. I hope to meet him someday. I wonder when I will get the chance. No one knows. You haven't heard anything from him since he wrote that letter Linnea was carrying that day. That is correct. Linnea has been with us for 3 years. Ah, so she was not born into this family? No, she wasn't. She came here 3 years ago. That was the first time we ever saw her. I'll stop doing the voice impressions. So she is not a launcher by blood. I already told you. She first came here 3 years ago carrying a letter from my father. Of course she's family now. Isn't that right, Linnea? You don't suppose 3 years ago. So that's it. Now I see. You'll have to excuse me now. I just remembered something wonderful that I must do immediately. What's he talking about? What's something wonderful? That guy's just weird. Hey Linnea, do you think he and I will ever see eye to eye? Yes, Eugene is the villain. I believe he's also the final boss. And he has a very SQS German look. What shall we do, Your Highness? What shall I do, Your Highness? Get her! Get the girl! Yes, Your Highness. Probably to more emphasize, get her! Get the girl! So yes, Linnea, alas, is going to be kidnapped in the not too distant future. Then we have to go rescue her. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Japanese version actually had voice acting in it. I know the second game does have voice acting and they left the Japanese voice acting in, and it's a bit odd. Because this game doesn't really have a Japanese aesthetic, so it feels a bit weird. But if they leave it in, they leave it in, it's up to them. Still, I guess you have voice acting. I mean, this has got the Japanese voice acting in, but they only use it in the sort of fight scenes. What's that? Why did he leave in such a hurry? Does he have diarrhea or something? Ah well, at least we got rid of that weirdo. Alright then, come on Linnea, we've got work to do today. Good luck to the both of you. I will be waiting your return. Yeah, they definitely got the... Oh, the GameCube one does have English voiceovers, yeah. Yeah, the villains definitely have a German far-right look. They do tend to do that with a lot of games. Certainly during the 90s they would often use historical villains as reference. It did get a bit tiring actually. I'm glad they sort of moved away from it. I think it says the same thing, Nash here. The GameCube, as we were mentioning earlier, 8-bit SNK boy, got a game called Evolution Worlds, which is... It might even just have been called Evolution in some territories, I can't remember. It's a weird one. Basically, the GameCube version is Evolution 1 and 2 stuck together with bits of them taken out. So half the first game's missing, and it's got... I think it's got new elements, it's got better visuals, but there are other bits missing, so it's a bit weird. it's neither the first and second game fully, and it's not its own game either. So it's a weird thing, the GameCube version, I will admit. Apologies if the mic's a little bit noisy, I've got quite a lot. And there's... Yeah, so basically there's four games in the series, but effectively there's only two, because the first Neo Geo Pocket one is basically a Neo Geo version of this one. I think there may be a few changes, and the GameCube one is a combination of the second and first game on Dreamcast, so it's I do like the characters look in this. I think there's a lot of things they did right, Sting, in this. It is clearly an... I mean, it does look a bit like it's been a sort of souped-up PS1. Yeah, the 8th Empire is basically the villain in this one. I don't know if you fight the 8th Empire in the second game, but I know the central villain is another character like Linear. But yeah, I think this was Power Stone. I think we played Power Stone. Power Stone 2, I think, was the first game we played on Dreamcast, and I played this. The first time I played this was actually on Christmas Day. Got its own personal... Maybe your good guys are different. They seem like good guys. Grant, give me a... I think visually this still holds up fairly well. It's not... I wouldn't say it's the best looking Dreamcast game. It has dated a bit. The translation's actually pretty good for this. Flowers and kids as gifts. What is read about? Yeah, they did actually do pretty good translation. I'd assume Ubisoft did the translation and not Sting. I want to repay my debt. Wow. Yeah, we're nearly repaid our debt. We're steadily getting there. Wish they'd pack up and go. Yep, so basically blind ruins. I can only do the blind ruins. So yeah, the military. So basically at the start of the game. So one of the cool things about this game is that you can actually do the dungeons pretty much in any order. And the initial dungeons are... You can choose which one. As I mentioned, one of them does get locked off, which is the one to the left, I think. I'm not sure which one got locked off. It's one of them's been locked off. And basically, when the 8th Army arrive, yeah, normally it is the publishers that do translating. Seeing as the fact I did work on publish, you have to remember, Nike, I did do translations on games, so I know a bit about game development. Sometimes it's developers will do it in house. Sometimes it will be publishers. Usually, a quick check of the credits will tell you. And I just haven't checked. It probably was Ubisoft. They did actually do some pretty good jobs with it. But yeah, as I mentioned, this game originally lets you pick all the dungeons, which one you want to do. So you can do them in any order, and as you progress, they get locked out over time. By the way, one thing I should mention, I'm playing VGA on the PAL Dreamcast version. This game actually has a bug where if you try to boot it up into VGA mode off the bat, the game will say no and throw you out. So you can actually technically do each stage with only 2 characters, just mag and linear, but I think that's going to make things very, very difficult. But yeah, basically this game is a bug where they didn't set the VGA flag on the game disc. It was obviously a bug with Ubisoft. So there are a couple of ways around it. Literally, you can do a switch in and switch out of the cable, or if you've got a VGA box that can switch between resolutions. And also, you can do like me and just boot this via the if you have an Exploder or DCX, you can boot the game via one of them, and it will then just load perfectly. Just going to chat to the other people in town, seeing as they've changed their dialogue. I won't. Yeah, there are a couple of games where you have different translations due to different publishers as well. So, Sega, I know infamously a couple of their games in multiple translations. Shining Soul. So Sega of Europe originally used to have a really good translation team on games like Shining Wisdom, Shining the Holy Ark and all them. But on Shining Soul, they had an absolute atrocious translation that Atlus redid to make it vastly better on the Game Boy Advance. Yep, so I'll take Jeanne in the dungeon this time. I think it's been a while since I've used Jeanne. Better check if that equipment's any good for her. Yes, there is indeed two translations of Shining Soul, and yet 8-Bit SNK-Boy's right as well. There's two translations for Shining Wisdom as well. However, the reason for that is that Shining Wisdom was translated by Sega in Europe, so it's the official and correct translation with all the correct character names from Shining Force 2. Because Shining Wisdom was not released by Sega in North America, that was done by Working Design. They changed the translation, so they butchered the core of the franchise. So for Shining Wisdom, I'd recommend playing the PAL version over the US one. With Shining Soul, Atlus retranslated the game because the European translation was dreadful that time around. I think by that point, most of the European translators had left Sega. So yeah, Shining Soul was an abysmal translation, and I recommend the Atlus US translation. I think the sequel, they all use the Atlus translation. Yeah, there are a couple of games that you said got multiple translations, which is quite interesting. But yeah, those are the two off the top of my head that I'm aware of. I I know Guardian Heroes was retranslated for the Xbox 360 release, and the actual official Sega one I don't like as much as the working design one. Strangely, the working design... Butchered it regardless. Yeah, the only one they didn't butcher is Guardian Heroes. Guardian Heroes working design stayed true to the original translation, so... Actually, one game that's got an interesting translation is Dragon Force, purely because that translation, because of some of the things said in it now, would not be, you would not be able to reissue that translation in its current form. I'm just trying to think of how many other games have had multiple translations. I know there have been a few where they've retranslated it. Those are the two that spring to my head. Usually when the US had a bad translation. So I'm just going to check. Seeing as I've got a load of gear in the thing, I'm going to grab it and see if it's any good. Appreciate all the likes, everyone. Thank you to everyone on stream. I should just introduce myself in case you're new to the stream watching. My name is Random Gamer Riven. I am the editor of Randomised Gaming, so I hope you like this stream. We are playing Evolution, the World of Scarce Devices on Sega Dreamcast. I'm playing this live via an actual Dreamcast with my original copy of the game that I got back in Christmas, I think 2001. And yes, it's a very long time ago. Christmas, no, Christmas 2000. Christmas 2000 I got this. Just to make myself feel old now. This game is now 21 years old. No, it's 22 because it was 99. Yes, there's quite. They've translated all the humour pretty well. I assure you I am not senile. I shall have plenty of fight left in me, man. Gree's actually a pretty good character. But yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty good translation, so... Yeah. Working Sign, yeah, so Working Sign, Arc the Lad, they did a good job, and you said Growlon, so it's weird. Albert Odyssey was a real low point for working design. Dragon Force isn't a great translation. It's a very good game, and I'm glad they did the translation, but there are some slightly dubious things like atomic wedgies mentioned and some other things that, as I said, are not broadcastable. Oh, it's a Gree weapon. I think if you take Gree, I think that's why you take Gree at the bosses, because he doesn't take any money as a thief. So Sanity Visor I should sell, Noctavision. Yeah, Silhouette Mirage was a real low point. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Working Design did, so I said, Working Design were a bit of a mixed bag. Thunder Force 5, I think they mucked around with, but yeah, Silhouette Mirage, infamously, they mucked around with the game so it became unplayable fun. It was just, it was really bad. The original game had the system perfectly, and that was a case of Working Design were messing with the game. They didn't know what they were doing. That game was literally butchered by Working Design, quite literally. Yeah, I mean, Albert Odyssey and Magic Ray Earth Knights are good games, but their translations aren't great. Albert Odyssey is a really bad translation in places, but at the same time I'm glad they translated it, isn't it? It's a very good game. And ironic with Albert Odyssey, although the translation's quite bad, they did make some gameplay improvements, such as reducing the number of random battles, because they said the game was originally a notorious grind. So we did cover Albert Odyssey in a stream, and we had some fun the first day we tried to do it. Yeah, Silhouette Mirage was the one they butchered. So, Albert Odyssey, it's weird, they did some weird things. So, there's a couple of games like Iron Storm they translated, they did a perfect job, they didn't muck around with anything, it's a really great version of the game, Iron Storm. And again, Albert Odyssey, they improved the gameplay, but didn't do a great translation. Whereas, Silhouette Mirage, they butchered the translation in the game. Guardian Heroes, they left the game as it was and made a really good translation that was actually better than the official Sega one. So it's all a bit of it's a swings and roundabouts. It really is depending what mood they were in. They made some interesting changes to Magic Knight Ray Earth, but by doing those changes, they made some really messy bugs as well. We covered Albert Odyssey a while back in the stream. I keep meaning to do a proper gameplay video of Albert Odyssey. There are a couple of them. But probably something like Albert Odyssey. I should check how many slots Gree has. Yeah, improve. Yeah, that's basically what they did, fiddle with the number values, because really that's the only thing you can do if you're Oh, I really need to upgrade her. It's been a while since I actually used Jeanne. I think she was the character I didn't use that much, so just gonna pop a few more items into storage. And then we'll get into the next ruin. Apologies, it does take this type of game is the type of game where you have like 20 minutes before you do a dungeon. You're referring to Silhouette Mirage with the changes? Yeah, Silhouette Mirage, the changes. Everyone I know said the North American version is just basically borderline unplayable because of the changes. They basically break the game in Silhouette Mirage with the changes, sadly. Probably actually get rid of the rubbish healing item. Oh really? They? Oh, I actually have that on Sega CD. I've just never sat down to play it. You cannot beat him. Is that actually... So what, does that just... Can you... I take it... Is that the case you just have to grind for hours on end to beat him? Or is it absolutely unplayable? I'm just going to check the grenade status. Yeah, his name. Most of the, in case you hadn't guessed, most of the characters' names are puns on weaponry, which is quite a cool touch. I guess everything about this game gave it a lot of charm, so it's definitely one I do recommend. I said, this first game's quite cheap to buy if you like it, but some of the other games in the series are rather expensive. It's basically a rogue dungeon game with that much stronger story-based element. I think probably a lot of people, I'm probably going to like this more now than I did originally, because I didn't play that many rogue dungeon games originally, whereas now, having played them, fully understood them and how they work. There's actually a very good rogue dungeons in a lot of ways. I just think the presentation in terms of how the dungeons themselves are presented could be slightly better. Okay, mag it is then. Okay, I'm going to add a booster to mag then to... So pretty much like modern games like Warframe, then grinding forever. Actually, I haven't spoken to Pepper yet to see what she says about the 8. So I do have some... I'm just thinking that's a hefty attack increase, so moving. If you fight by moving characters. By spraying gas. Do I want to use the other parts to mag, or do I want to use a big old attack booster? I'm actually going to use an attack booster to make things a bit easier. Just going to disperse, get back chain gun. I can dispense with grief for now. And we'll get back into the dungeons. Yeah, this is definitely a game where you spend a time. Oh, I just run. As with a lot of rogue dungeon games, you do spend quite a bit of time setting things up before you start adventuring out. Just go save it. Right, and off to a world of adventure. So the music really is a real high point in this, it really is good. The runway. I mean, the Dreamcast wasn't known for RPGs. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Sega Saturn has more RPGs on it by quite some margin. And the Saturn wasn't the most successful RPG console ever, compared to the PS1, which was absolutely stocked full of them. Unworking design fan patches. That I do have to see. To get ready for some more beautiful music as well. Yeah, the enemies clearly scale, don't they, in this? And I must admit, you are actually right, Naiko. You don't need to fight too much in this, which is another thing. Yeah, you've basically got the best two music tracks at the minute for the dungeons. This is the really good one, and the other one's the really good one as well. We previously had in the Shade Room. You have got to use their specials to unlock them, I seem to recall. Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII had a scaling system as well, I recall. I think 7 does as well. There are a couple of games that actually have RPGs that have scaling systems, and in those ones, as you mentioned, leveling up is not. You basically want to get to like level. I think with Final Fantasy VIII, it was a case of you wanted to get to level 9 because that way you'd be in the max. You'd be in the max of that category, and then you wouldn't want to go any higher. Because the minute you went to 10, all the enemies upgraded. I think it was with Final Fantasy VIII. Which is a weird thing to say to me as an RPG fan who absolutely loved to grind, but yeah. try and get this enemy from behind. But there you go, we've got you. Oh, come on, we should have the initiative. Yes, linear attacks with her deadly frying pan. Yeah, what happens if you hit 100 in Final Fantasy VII? It does go crazy, doesn't it? They said the final battle becomes insanely hard. Because it was quite easy to beat them when you're not at level 100. Sephiroth was quite easy when you're not 100, and I think he becomes insanely hard when you do become 100. So, defense down massively. No, that's not a good trade-off. No, that one's slightly better trade-off, but not great. Do hope you enjoy the music. It is absolutely gorgeous to listen to. Visually, it's perhaps not the best with these slightly dark. I will admit, when you look at the corridors like this, I don't think there's a camera angle change. It's a bit dull with the way you're running around rooms like this. That's one criticism I will have of this game. Yeah, you can jump, but I don't think I've got the jump far enough to... Oh, no, I can jump. I was actually listening to the soundtrack the other day. As I said, the soundtrack for this is really, really good. Oh, press B at the last. I think you've got to press B at the last-ish minute when you jump. This is a ruined search and you now know the dungeon floor plan. must admit, I do like the bright characters do work well as a nice aesthetic to the sort of kind of dull and dim dungeons. Appreciate all the likes, everyone. If you do want to drop by and chat, by all means, please do. Just so you know, you will need to be subscribed for this stream. You only need to be subscribed for a minute, but it's just to avoid spam chat messages that we've had in the past. And I caught one the other. We had some weird messages the other day with someone saying they were on Discord. So basically, it's a quick way to stop people spamming. Just gonna try and get that chest. I am always a bit greedy, and I like to grab as many treasure chests as I can. Yep. It's just a soul potion. Okay, so gas makes you confused, which means you run around like a really... Your character does not run the way they're supposed to. You're best off actually, so you notice there's weird movements. You press it. Confusion has been cured, yeah. Gotta try and avoid those traps if you can spot them. Go to next floor as we delve deeper in. Yeah, I don't think you want to exit the room just yet. Hunting rifle for green. Oh yeah, Time Stalkers is random as well, yeah. Yeah, I mean this isn't perfect as well, but obviously if Time Stalkers is the same, then yeah. I do remember Time Stalkers being very gringy. I think probably the best RPGs on Dreamcast from what I played are Skies of Arcadia, Grandia 2, Record of Lodoss War I think is one of the best games on Dreamcast. Probably this and the second games are probably two of the best RPGs. Eldorado's Gate I've really been enjoying. That's definitely... Because what I didn't realise of Eldorado's Gate, and I need to mention in the videos, is the fact that you can actually traverse between the discs in Eldorado's Gate, and you can actually take items from, say, the 10th chapter back into the first chapter if you want to sort of power grind and discover things that you're missing. There's quite a lot of hidden items and secret boss fights. And when I realised that, it basically takes Shining Force 3 system and does something totally new, because it means you can actually, in fact, I think it's the first game that I'm aware of where you could actively play an earlier scenario and transfer the save file into a later one. I haven't fought this guy before, so let's give him a battle. So Eldorado's Gate's definitely very good. Sonkyo, is it Sengoku? That's not a bad little RPG game. But other than that, there's really not a huge amount of RPGs. Grandia 2, I think the Dreamcast version is probably still the best, arguably. Touch wood. But Skies of Arcadia, the GameCube version, is largely the better version in terms of content, but not music. Skies of Arcadia, interestingly, the GameCube version, they had to really downgrade the music, which was hugely disappointing, seeing how good the music was. I think that's primarily an issue because the Dreamcast version is spread over 2 gigs, whereas the GameCube version is spread over 1.5 gigs. Yeah, definitely, like you say, Nico, Time Stalkers is not a patch on... Yeah, the Dreamcast version of Skies of Arcadia is on 2 GD-ROMs. Whereas the GameCube version is only on 1 GameCube disc, I believe. Which was an odd choice. I don't know why it wasn't on 2. Well, I feel like so I know the Dreamcast version is on 2 GD-ROMs. I do want to double check if the GameCube one's not on 2, but I think it wasn't. That was the weird thing. They basically didn't. Cute print sandals? No. No, the GameCube one was definitely only on 1 disc, I believe. But yeah, as a result, the music, if you compare the GameCube music to the Dreamcast one, it's awful in comparison. They've heavily cut and changed the music. In fact, I think it's almost as if they're using a GameCube internal synthesizer. Yeah, I'd guess lower production. I also don't know if there were... The other chance is that it might be the way they did the music was specific to Dreamcast and that they couldn't recreate that easily on the GameCube without spending loads of extra time on it. But yeah, I will say the characters in this definitely have a lot more colour and variety in comparison to... they just look more pleasing. Oh really? That seems odd. Why? There were a couple of games I saw that were supposed to be on PS2 but never got round to being released. I saw Spawn in the Demon Hand. Apparently was supposed to get a PlayStation 2 port as well. Is Mag still poisoned? That does seem an odd one why they didn't release, because weirdly the GameCube didn't... The weird thing is that if they'd released Skies of Arcadia on PlayStation 2, it may have done a lot better, because the PS2 was vastly more successful than the GameCube. In fact, in Japan, the GameCube bombed like a 10-ton weight. It was an absolute flop for Nintendo. So not releasing their... I mean, that was one of Sega's key problems. Some of their core games, it was weird, they released a lot of their games on the two more unpopular systems during the when they moved away from from being a console platform to just publishing games. I think part of that was also as a bitterness with Sony, because they had basically been bested by Sony, so it's the equivalent of releasing on your rival having been taken apart by them, which I think they should have done. Because these days when you look at Sega, it's just like, what are they releasing now? It's really sad, a sad reflection. When you think what Sega used to do and what they release now, it's just... Possibly. I mean, it shouldn't have done because the PS2 was more powerful than the Dreamcast, but I suppose it depends on how easy it is to convert a game. I know the PS2 was a bit funky to code for, so... I mean, I don't think this is actually that big an RPG either, right? It's like 20 hours or so. Maybe 25, 30. It's not a big game. I don't know if when you beat the game, whether there's a bit of an after game and you can actually visit all the dungeons. I have a feeling there might be. Appreciate all the likes, everyone on stream. I know we've not actually... Do feel try dropping by in the chat if you want to. You do just need to be a subscriber for a minute. It's just to stop spam stuff. I don't know if 8-bit SNK boy's still with us. Maybe he's nodded off or something. Yeah, I need to just... It's definitely interesting seeing how they had to change things. So, I mean, I know myself, porting games, we worked on... It's like when I worked on Pirates of the Caribbean, we ported it to PSP, and the PSP, because of how it was done, just didn't have the same amount of RAM. So I think the PSP version had a limit of only 2 enemies on screen at any time, so it really was poor in comparison to the other versions. Because I think basically we were making ports, and that's a lot of the time you try and port stuff as quickly as possible. Although I did also work on the PSP version of Split Second, and that was really well done. Kudos to Sumo Digital, they really did a good job compressing that down onto the PSP. Oh, that was a good trap. The monsters on the floor seem weaker. The music really is, you can just fall asleep to this music. It is a joy to listen to. So I say at this point in the game, an item that restores 100 health is not very helpful. Actually a bit weird revisiting my previous save. I didn't think I'd get that far, but I've actually managed to get quite... Go to the next floor. I'm going to keep chungering along till I find the next teleport actually, so and then I'll wrap it up for now. Oh, that's quite cool, the sleeping sheep. Some lovely little animation. Yeah, you're right, this is much more polished than Time Stalkers. Okay, that's good to know. I can start learning some special skills with her. I have actually, if you want an interesting RPG tactical-wise to play, I have actually been playing Jeanne d'Arc on the PSP, or Joan of Arc. That's actually really, really good. That's really good. The downside is, I can see why it never got a European release, and it's never ever going to be reissued again as well. Because someone at level 5 in Sony didn't do their research. I think my one gripe is you can't use magic outside of... They're actually advertised, yeah. This is, I mean, you've got to be a bit careful of traps. Oh, that enemy's still chasing me. Why would Jeanne d'Arc have... Okay, so if you know anything about the story of Jeanne d'Arc, you'll realise that it's basically a light-hearted play on the historical events. The problem is, one of the historical figures is basically now not talked about in France because he was the first known mass murderer, basically. He's the first historical, it's one of the French guys, and he's one of the main playable characters, and he's supposed to have done a lot. You actually look him up in history, he's done lots of really, really unpleasant things, and he's actually in the game as one of the main playable characters. I think he's almost made to look like a bit of a hero. So I haven't played it all the way through yet, but yeah, and they basically kidify some of what's going on, so it's a bit weird. It's an interesting game, but someone didn't do their homework. It'd be unreleasable in France because they said they stopped. Basically, they pretty much banned talking about that character. Gilles de Rauh. He was one of the Jeanne d'Arc's guys. Basically, he decided after he'd do some very unpleasant things after Joan of Arc, unfortunately, after he retired from battle, and it's like, okay, yeah, this guy is not a very nice person. And even they don't speak about him in sort of French history now, he's just sort of kept to one side. They'll just mention him because he was not a man of valour, so to speak. But yeah, but basically because they've got all that, because they haven't done their research on that, and they make it, I mean, they might get away with just completely renaming all the characters in it. That might be a way to reissue it. This dungeon is full of traps, this floor. Oh, treasure chest. Yes, that's what I want. Exit. So it's quite interesting, Jeanne d'Arc, but yeah, it's definitely a game they're not going to be... Yeah, they would be better, literally, they would be better. It would probably actually make a better game if they took out all the references to historical figures, just called it something else, because it's a bit silly anyway. They basically have some sort of... they kind of basically make a weird it's a weird fantasy story of a historical event between France and England. So releasing it in this country, you realise how messed up, how they sort of trivialise all the War with the Roses. I mean, yeah, it's like they kidify it, but because they add in like cartoon fantasy elements, you know, like mythical monsters and things that don't exist. It just feels at odds with the history, so it's a really weird. Try and get the other items. You can't carry anymore. Okay, I need to. It's an interesting one. It's one of those games that I really enjoyed, but when I read up on the history, because I remember a few things about what they said about it, and yeah, I realised now, having read up and understanding the history, I mean, coming from England, and they kind of trivialise it, and I thought, maybe because they had all these kiddie elements, like it. No, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think they probably should have just been a bit more tactful. I think they'd have been fine if they'd not had the historical figure who'd done all the horrible things. Was it Jeanne de Gaulle, Jeanne de Rao? If they'd have just taken him out, I think it would have been fine. But it's still a bit funky. I mean, I don't mind it, but I can see what. I mean, they could have. It's just when you're one of the playable. I'm pretty sure he's a playable character as well, and it feels a bit off being able to play as someone who committed absolutely abhorrent crimes. If you go look him up on Wikipedia. So it's a bit of an odd one. But yeah, I think they could have probably just done with renaming a few things, maybe got away with it. Maybe using combat, great. Exit ruins. I mean, yeah, I don't think the inspiration, but I think they should have just been a bit more careful. But yeah, no, if they want to do that type of thing, and it's a really good game. Yeah, I can respect the story and everything, but I can see why. I mean, I just don't like the way they've done it, but that's purely my personal opinion. But I do think I can see why it never got a release now, because someone in Sony Europe probably just took a look at that, or Sony France, and said this game's got a notorious character who they don't because I actually read they said they don't discuss him in France anymore when they mention Jeanne d'Arc because of the atrocities he committed. So I thought, well, yeah, if they don't, so there would have been a bit of an outcry. I mean, they could have still released it, but I think it'd be better if they'd named. Strangely, they could have actually just renamed him to one of Joan of Arc's other companions, and I think that would have probably been better. But personally, I think because it's the weird way they do it, but it's still a very good game, and they are. I mean, I'm not disputing they are entitled to make games with that type of material. It's just I just felt it was a little bit odd with some of the elements. For me, it was basically adding in lots of fancy stuff, but they can do that. It just felt a bit odd, but. Probably because I know about the history, so it just felt a bit odd, but it's a very good game. I highly recommend it. It's a shame it never got released in Europe, but having done, as said, I can understand why it was never released in Euroland. But I'm actually surprised they didn't just do a rename, to be honest. That's the one thing I will say. I am surprised they didn't just do a rename of it. Okay, hi 8PS. I remember you saying you'd fallen asleep before, so glad you're here on the stream regardless, even if you're snoozing away. No, that's cool, mate. Don't worry about it. I'm actually slightly falling asleep myself. Yeah, that is very true, Nico. I just think for me, Jeanne was a slightly weird way they presented the story with like the characters. It was... I would think I'd appreciate it more if it had been more true to life tale of what had gone on with Joan of Arc. So I think that would have been a better representation, because they add in like demons and other monsters and things. It's a really weird. It's like they wanted to make an adaptation of a medieval fantasy thing, and it's a medieval fantasy. It's just a really weird thing the way they've done it. It's still a very good game, and I did like the art style and I liked the way it was done, but there were just one or two things I felt, yeah, this is a bit odd, and I can see why it wasn't released over here. It's a shame. It is a very good game. I do highly recommend it. Yeah, Time Stalkers is not a great game. It's not bad, but it's not really great either. I think the thing with Time Stalkers I quite like is because it's actually linked to the Shining series, so... Yeah, there's some quite good demo discs. We've got most of them here at Randomised Gaming. We didn't get some of the early ones. We got the one that had the Dynamite Cop demo on, which is quite interesting because that has the Detonator Pack DLC on it, which they never mentioned, which is quite interesting. That's very interesting, Jim. So yeah, I'll get rid of that. Sucks the enemies into a black hole, one-time mini black. Yeah, I never liked the official Dreamcast magazine much, I have to be honest. It was a bit of a weird mag, I always felt. It tried to be a wannabe lads mag, and I could see why it got axed as soon as they said they weren't going to sell it without a demo, didn't it? Which was a telling sign. I'm going to wrap up in a second of just doing the sort of business end of stuff. I'm just going to get the weapon for Gree. But it's actually handy having all the magazines this day purely for information, because a lot of them, when you go through, have information on like unreleased games, and because you go through, see, oh, this game's in development, and then of course, you know, it never got released. So there's some really nice things. And it was quite... it was a well presented mag. I just never liked the fact there's some weird lad mag sections in it, the official Dreamcast mag. I much preferred the official Sega Saturn magazine, and even Saturn Power. And I can now say we've actually had Dean Mortlock, the editor of Sega Saturn Power, on stream, which was fantastic the other week. That's slightly annoying, the fact you can't just auto kick. Yeah, I will admit, changing party members is a little bit of a drag in this, especially if you want to just check their equipment over. I guess the hunt gun's rubbish for... Yeah, I need to play Time Stalkers more. I'm actually quite enjoying playing Evolution again. I should finish this off, actually. It's not that big a game at all. It's quite a nice little... It's quite a nice... As an introduction... Yeah, another annoyance here, which is a real annoyance. You may notice this as well, Naiko, is blind buying, which is possibly one of my biggest pet hates. Yeah, most of the demos are actually on the Japanese collection side, aren't they? There were only a few PAL British demos. We've actually got quite a few of them, but most of them generally don't have that much difference to the final game. Mainly because demos on consoles they don't tend to do until literally the game's finished. Yeah, I really hate blind buy. There's nothing worse than blind buying. So if I click the gun with combat improvement screen. So fight gun, frying pan with pot hold. Should see if they use frying pans. But yeah, there's nothing worse than blind buying in a game. Yeah, this one's still reasonably priced. The second game is very expensive if you want a PAL version. I think the North American copies are still relatively cheap, and so are the Japanese ones, so... Right, see if it's good, reload. Yeah, that's what I call it. I call it blind buying, where they don't show you the stats. Which is my nickname for it, basically buying as you can't see what you're buying, so... But in fact, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there, so I hope you've all enjoyed this look at Evolution, the World of Sacred Devices. So we've actually done a boss fight, I'm quite way into the... I should try and finish this now, seeing as I've got this far into it. And I actually decided, so I didn't do a playthrough from the start. I actually thought I'd carry on my save file, and sure enough, we've been able to play through quite a way. So we're now into I think the final dungeon before you actually head over to the main ship to rescue Linnea, because she's of course going to get kidnapped based on the story. But it's a nice show. but it's a nice showcase. Until you get to, yeah, there are a few games that had that where you literally blind buying is basically like Call it, because you buy an item, you don't know anything about the stats. So basically, you just literally buy the item. Is it better? No. Reload the save, or buy a couple of items. Which ones are better? Reload. Buy the one. So better. But I'm going to finish the stream now, seeing as it's coming up to midnight here in the United Kingdom, and it's getting very sweaty here in the UK. So thank you all for watching this stream. Thank you to 8-bit and 8-bit SNK Boy and Nico or Nicodem Art, as I'll give you your full title. Thanks to Dubs, who was also on stream, and thanks to Britboy as well, who was on stream as well. Appreciate everyone who's hitting that like button, and hello, and thank you to anyone watching who's not in chat or who's basically lurking away. Very much as always to appreciate. I appreciate not everyone wants to chat during the streams. Just hope you all enjoyed this look at Evolution, the World of Sacred Device. And I said that they did get a sequel as well called Evolution to Far Off Promise, and a GameCube release. And so this one's quite cheap. The sequel is is very expensive in PAL territories, a lot cheaper in North America and Japan. There's the Game Boy Color Neo Geo Pocket version, not Game Boy Color, Neo Geo, that's quite expensive. And then there's of course the GameCube version. So thank you all for this. So that's it from me. I'm going to be wrapping up tonight, and I'll see you all. We'll be doing a fight night tomorrow if anyone wants to join in. We'll be doing a Power Stone 2 fight night on Randomised Gaming, so I hope anyone gets to join there. And I will be doing a Power Stone 2 long play as well. In fact, I'll sort that out in the morning, put the long play up. I'll probably put it up for Friday as well. No, Saturday. Put the long play up for Friday, and the fight night will be Fight night will be tomorrow night, and then we'll have a long play of Power Stone 2 on Saturday, and I might try and do a long play of Rush Rally Reloaded as well, so I'll get that done. Also, if you haven't already hit that like button, please do. It's very much appreciated. For the meantime, I wish you a good night, a good evening, good morning, or a good afternoon wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching. This has been Evolution, the World of Sacred Devices, published in 1999. It was developed by Sting. It was published by Ubisoft in the UK, and I think North America, and in Japan it was sort of co-published by Sega and ESP. But that's it from me. Have a great night, everyone. Have a good evening, good afternoon, or a good morning, depending where you are in the world, as always. And I'll see you all in tomorrow's stream. We'll be having a fight night on Power Stone 2. In the meantime, see you all very soon.